Hello, all. On behalf of ITC Infotech, a very warm welcome to all of you to this interactive and informative session on why digital skills matter. My name is Ritesh Roy. I head human resources for the digital experience team at ITC Infotech. I possess close to about 15 years of experience across Fortune 500 companies and startups, having played a wide variety of roles across industries. I would be happy to connect with all of you who have cared to join us today on LinkedIn post this session. I'm joined by Balaji Raghunathan, who's the Associate Partner, Heading Competency for Digital Experience here at ITC Infotech. Balaji, over to you to introduce yourself to our audience.
Thank you, Ritesh. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to all of you, wherever you're from. A very warm welcome to you. Like what Ritesh mentioned, uh, I had the technology and competency for the digital experience service line. I've been with ITC Infotech for the last 3.5 years and have more than 20 plus years of experience in this field. I've played multiple roles, across multiple companies, starting from development to IP commercialization to IP development to delivery to consulting. So yeah, that's about me. Yeah, Ritesh, I think we can look at how we are moving forward on the digital skilling journey.
Sure. Balaji, let me just kickstart this by asking you, in these times, the times that we are operating in, and I don't have to, belabor the kind of challenges that we're facing across organizations. Why are digital skills more important now than any time in the past? Balaji, could you share your views with us?
Yeah, sure. I think the remote working mechanism and the contactless kind of behavior that is actually accelerating digital transformation. And this is not only at our organizations, but more at our customer organizations. And that's actually driving down, most of this digital skilling initiatives. If we look at today, digital skilling is not just relevant for the coders or those at the middle level, but even for the senior most level. So we are seeing more and more human and bot interaction. We are looking at how bots can assist our work. Apart from that, we see that what was relevant yesterday from a framework or from a technology perspective is getting outdated very rapidly. And the speed of evolution of technology, that's actually something which everybody needs to catch up. So I think all these factors put together are actually driving up the digital skilling needs. Yeah, I think that's my view in terms of why digital skilling is something which everybody is talking about.
True. Yeah, very true, and very well put, Balaji. And how are you seeing digital skilling evolve at the customer organizations that we work with?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a joke being circulated, right? Who is responsible for digital transformation, whether it's the CIO or the CTO or the CEO? But actually, the answer is COVID-19. Whatever we have seen over the last few years, whatever transformation initiatives used to take about 3 years or 5 years, that's now being done at about within 3 to 6 months. So that's a rapid pace at which we are seeing our customers actually embark on their digital transformation journey. And again, when we look at how we consider digital transformation journey and how we are seeing this kind of evolve in our customer organizations, we are seeing that they are not just wanting us to come and deliver a digital product. They want people to adopt in their organization. So they basically want our skin in the game. They want us to actually look at driving data literacy. They are wanting us to drive digital literacy. They want us to help us train them on how to work with bots. So that is how I see actually the digital transformation having evolved in our customer organizations. And this is not just limited to one or two sectors; it's across all sectors.
Yeah, it's quite interesting that you mentioned here at ITC Infotech, looking at this changing scenario as an organization, we stress on competency building, and that would include an ongoing emphasis on building digital skills exactly to cater to the kind of situations and changing expectations that you just mentioned. All our employees are part of a clearly articulated career framework, the basis of which is baselining competencies through a role-based architecture, which ties in both to performance management and individual development. And I think through this emphasis and through this focus, we are trying to build a workforce that can cater to the changing technological needs, especially the ones brought about by the current times, Balaji. So I think it ties in nicely, from a human resources angle. Also, the kind of investments that we are making ties in very well with some of the changing expectations that you've just mentioned, hitherto. Balaji, I want to just specifically focus on what are some of the challenges faced in this whole journey of building the next in this whole journey of digital next that we are progressing on and building digital next competencies. How has learning shifted? How has this focus on learning shifted? How have trends in learning shifted when it comes to individuals upskilling, cross skilling, reskilling themselves?
Yeah, I would say it's a mix of the people, process, and the technology shift, right?
Sure.
So when we look at what is the shift from a people perspective, I think people pre-COVID, at least I would say, were more accustomed to having some kind of instructor-led kind of courses. Of course, like there were organizations where people were actually involved in a kind of the online kind of capsules on their
Right.
mobile devices, or kind of the online streaming platforms or the online education platforms, right? But again, I would say that it's more being platform led than the being an instructor led kind of journey. We are actually looking at continuous learning, right? I think the biggest challenge is in terms of how receptive people are towards learning. They should actually look at forgetting what they learned earlier, whatever is not relevant, and whatever is relevant, picking up those skills very fast. So it's basically more of bite-sized learning and continuous learning. And basically there's a shift from the instructor-led classroom sessions to maybe I'll say a hybrid level, where there can be instructor assisted kind of online learning. But yeah, it's definitely I won't say curtains down, but we are seeing less and less of instructor-led classroom sessions. So that's what we see. Now, again, in terms of the training needs, and again, I was speaking about how things are changing at our customer ends so drastically, right? So I think customers are accelerating their digital transformation initiatives, be it their data modernization journey or their customer experience transformation journey. And in these kind of journeys, they want us to partner with them. So what they are saying is, see, like we had actually planned this roadmap for about 6 months. Rather for 5 years, right? Now that's been shut down to 6 months. We want to compress it to 6 months, right? And now we are very sure that we cannot handle all of this by ourselves. We need you to come in, and we need you to actually help us do this transformation working along with us. And then again, the skill levels of the people need to be fungible enough. So they may be working on AWS today, but they'll have to actually work tomorrow on Azure or GCP, right? So what actually they want us to do is have people cross skilled. So people are looking at full stack engineers. People are looking at full data stack engineers. They don't want people who will be compartmentalized to just one bit of area or one bit of technology. They want people to do multiple things. So what we are also seeing is that the demands from a transformation perspective are sudden from the customers. Suddenly, we get requirements in terms of helping them with an initiative which would require 30 people or 40 people 5 Scrum streams. So, and again here they are not ready to listen for a no or a delay in this program, right? So what we have done, that's one of the challenge what we are facing. So what we have also done is, like, we know that this is something what we cannot solve by ourselves. So we are actually trying out new things with even the platform providers. We are looking at something where they can actually help us in cross skilling people or upskilling people. And again, when it comes to cross skilling and upskilling people, we need to ensure that people grasp what they've been taught. So how do we do this, right? So we have pre-tests and then post-tests to just assess what's the receptivity in terms of all these skills. So we had one customer who wanted us to build their whole data platform, right? And this is on Azure. And again, what they told is, we want the best of all your people. So we worked with the platform provider. We actually, got two tracks. One is basically we just gave a pre-test to all the candidates. We saw who had all the prerequisites and who did not have. So we actually onboarded, the candidates who had all the prerequisites within 10 days to the customer journey, customer project. And then we took another 30, 40 days to get the next set of people. So yeah, I mean, I think one of the challenges is, like, it's not like you can do all things by yourself. You need partners. You need to tap into the ecosystem. So I think that is one of the strategic challenge what we face. Apart from the learnability of people, it's no more a push, right? It has to also be a pull from people. So that's something I think what we are actually seeing from a strategic perspective.
Very true, Balaji. And as an organization, ITC Infotech, I'm incredibly proud that we try to develop competencies across grades, across levels. So right, starting from the campus recruitment program that we have Praram, and we honored the commitments we made to our campus folks. We've got a bunch of bright, enthusiastic people. All of them, I think, more tuned to the forms of learning that you mentioned hitherto, that are taking over from the traditional classroom or instructor-led training. That being said, we still have that here at ITC Infotech across it, and it depends, on the kind of or the volume of demand that comes to us for a particular skill, the number of people who are interested, the ease of administering. So I think it's still has its relevance, but as you're saying, yeah, I think that might see a change or a shift going forward. And we also have a huge focus on certifications, on higher education, all means of encouraging people to look at their existing competencies and move to the next level. Since you were on the point of how customers' needs have changed, I just want to take a quick question that's come here on the chat, and I'm taking the liberty of not parking it till the end, Balaji. I'm going to just read it out now. This is from Reena. So Reena has asked, when you were speaking about the changing and the needs of our customers, is there a specific tech stack that is being pursued by customers that gives agility and productivity? So would you like to take that, Balaji?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think one of the things what we are seeing is that cloud, right? I mean, be it AWS or Azure, is something which is like very much something which is preferred, and most customers tend to look at what they are comfortable with. So whether it's AWS or Azure or GCP, I think they go along with what they are comfortable with. But definitely, it is cloud. So the tech stack would be related to the cloud. If it's Azure, say it's going to be the whole Azure tech stack, be it the data stack or the application stack. So that said, there is also a bigger adoption in terms of DevOps, right? So people want Kubernetes, people want Jenkins, people want maybe Azure DevOps if they are on Azure. And then there is adoption of Jira, or based on the platform, whether it's going to be Jira, or it could also be GitHub. So basically, while the stack is based on the cloud provider they have signed up for, I would largely say that it is the data modernization part which they are largely focused on. They are trying to build their analytics capabilities, or they are looking at building their D2C, direct to consumer capabilities. But all this they want in a very agile model. They want to adopt DevOps. Even if it's a data project, they want to adopt data ops. So I think that is what we have seen from our customers.
Thanks, Balaji. And Reena, thanks for that question. And we'd encourage the others as well to feel free to post their questions on the chat, and we'll try and answer them. Balaji, I also wanted to, sort of shift gears here. You've spoken about the changing landscape, possibly more from a strategic perspective. What are some of the operational challenges when we're talking about digital next and building competencies in this area? What are some of the operational challenges that you have encountered or you think are relevant that our listeners need to be aware of as well?
Yeah, so there are two parts when it comes to digital next, right? Or maybe I'll take it as three parts, right? One is your horizon one, or what we call as the core, right? And then there is the horizon two, or what we call as the big bets, right? And third is basically the innovation elements, which we call as the digital next. So the horizon one is something which you are comfortable with, which you have most of all your projects in, right? So basically, what we have done is we have actually tried to look at what's our sales place, right? So now we have derived our competencies from the sales place. So from the sales place, say for example, if we have artificial intelligence as one of our sales play, then all the AI stack comes into picture. Similarly, if it is customer experience, it's probably the Salesforce stack or the Microsoft stack. From a CRM perspective, from a digital marketing perspective. So basically, you map your skills or your competency needs against your sales place. That is on one dimension, and then the other dimension is you categorize it into core. You categorize it into big bets, and then you categorize it into digital next. So one of the challenges from a digital next perspective, what we encounter is this is about more an ecosystem play. You either build some innovations yourself, or you also have to partner with your ecosystem, with your startup partners, and you have to know when you should look at it as a black box and when you need to get into it. But you will have to have some kind of integration mechanism and framework to work with the startup, because they may not be as mature as say somebody like a Microsoft or a Salesforce when it comes to working with you, while they be very very flexible. So I think those are the challenges what we see when it comes to digital next. Now again, coming from a digital skilling perspective, we do have a lot of operational challenges. Like people may say that they've been fully into projects, right? And that too with the work from home, most of them are actually spending about 12 to 13 hours a day, right? I think
Sure.
their work schedule has actually increased from 9 to 12 or 13 hours a day. So what this has actually led to is a kind of I won't say fatigue, but a lack of time for upskilling themselves. But so I think that is probably one of the challenge, where we need to look at how to encourage people uh, to upskill themselves. But I think it is a lot more relevant today, and I am seeing a lot of encouraging results when it comes to even people who earlier were not really keen on taking up new courses or new skills. So I do see a lot of middle management and even senior management, not shy away if there is something which is of relevant. Which is going to provide them relevant skills actually. So I think that shift is happening. But yeah, when it comes to the operational challenges, I think one is definitely the lack of time. Second is probably it depends on how learnable somebody is and how much they want to learn, right? If people are in their comfort zone, then they may as well shy away from taking a particular course. So the success will be a mix of how much we plan for it in alignment with our offerings, and how much the uptake is in terms of people actually taking this course and upskilling themselves.
True. I think the age-old saying, "Where there's a will, there's a way." I think that's somewhere ties in with with the whole mindset issue and these challenges that people perceive themselves to have.
Yeah.
Uh, I think as an organization, ITC Infotech, one of the things that has made me incredibly proud is that even in these times, while a large number of corporations have scaled down on their learning and development budgets, ITC Infotech still continues to make those strategic investments, especially in these areas of, especially in the area of digital competencies, an area which we do regard as important as mushrooming and critical for our people. Balaji, here again, I'll just take a pause. I request those of you who've joined us, thank you so much for doing so. Please feel free to post your questions in the chat, and we'll be happy to answer them. Balaji, I'd like to maybe, as we wind down, maybe have you share with us a couple of examples of customers of success stories that we've had, obviously without without getting to the specifics of the customer, but success stories that we've had in this journey, and that will give people a flavor of the kind of work that we do here at ITC Infotech.
Yeah, so I would also say that success is an outcome of a strategy, right? So what we looked at is one is, of course, we looked at our sales place, right? Second is we looked at our customer demands, and we looked at what is their modernization journey, and then what we did is we clustered together, their skilling requirements. So what we did is we actually, had this challenge, what I talked about from one of our customers in US, who had compressed their, their digital transformation roadmap from, 5 years to 6 months, right? So when they came to us, we were, and their requirements from a skill perspective was pretty stringent, right? So we were actually looking at how do we address the customer need. So that's when this adjacency came into picture, right? So we looked at what is one of our other customer also asking, and when we clubbed these, we felt that people can be looked at from a common skill pool perspective and common competency perspective. So when we actually dug deeper, we felt that okay, let's not take just one customer in mind. Let's keep it as a reusable framework, right? And so what we did is we went ahead, we signed up with a platform, where they promised us that within the next, 1 month, they would actually look at how to onboard, about 30 people into the project. So we went ahead, we tested a pilot with them. So we were quite successful in that, where we took a prerequisite test, prerequisite skill test. We figured out that maybe about, I would say about 10 out of the 30 were actually good enough for going to the advanced course and getting directly onboarded to the customer, and while the remaining 20 needed some kind of preparation and help. So we classified them into two different categories, and then this skilling actually fed into the customer demands, and basically, like, we were able to have these I mean, all these, I would say maybe 25 to 28 people already selected from both these customers. So I think finding out the adjacencies, looking at it from your sales play perspective, all this plays a big role in terms of success of deployment of this digital skilling strategy. So I think your skilling finally, or your competency finally, should be relevant to the market, and it should be relevant to the market in your areas of strength. So I think that is what probably we have been able to do right, at least over the last 7 8 months. I mean, where we had COVID actually deal. I mean, provide us different kinds of challenges, right? So I think that is something which helped us, and so I would always say that align your strategy to your sales place and your areas of strength. And I think that is where you can actually reap benefits. Then it's all about clustering. Then it's all about finding out adjacencies so that you have a very fungible pool.
Sure. Thank you. That was really insightful, Balaji. As we wind down, I think we've got about 5 minutes left. Again encourage those of you who are with us to feel free to post your questions on the chat, and we'll be more than happy to take them. So Balaji, while that is coming, any final thoughts? How would you like to summarize or wrap up this entire journey that a lot of organizations and especially ITC Infotech finds itself on in terms of the whole digital next journey?
Yeah, I think digital next is a lot about your skin in the game as a partner. It's all about ecosystems. Like again, when I mentioned that customers ask for our skin in the game in terms of digital transformation. If I take an example, people want not just a data modernization or a reporting modernization to a kind of self-service platform, right? Self-service BI using Power BI or Tableau. They want us to train their end users, their end business users, in using this Power BI. So they want us to ensure that whatever they have invested on is actually being consumed by their end users for their relevant needs with the right level of expertise. So it is all about also imagining your customer needs and the end users, and basically that's what we call as the design led delivery. So we factor back in terms of we come back in terms of how a customer wants to look at your particular digital product, right? And then see how they want to use it, and then you plan accordingly. So the plan can be in terms of not just the delivery, but also what skills does your team need, plus what skills does your customer team need. And that's where you see a lot of organizations focus on data literacy, digital literacy, and the human bot interaction. And again, if you look at where most of our organizations, as well as even ITC Infotech, is going towards, there used to be people who could, I won't say whose only job, but a large part of their job was about consolidating multiple Excel sheets, right? Now with automation, RPA, right? We are actually looking at eliminating or automating most of these tasks so that now they can actually do a lot more strategic work for the organization. The same thing is happening at our customer organizations. They are looking at people, they are looking at bots doing all this kind of repetitive work. So I do see, this is a mix of, artificial intelligence and automation, and these are interesting times. Yeah, so I think those who are skilled enough and those who have, the aptitude to learn are going to actually have a higher probability of survival in this market. I won't say survival, but maybe being a leader in this market than those who are actually content with what they know. So that's what I would actually say as being one of the core message I would want to share.
Sure, thanks. And I can identify with what you're saying because a lot of those areas are also rubbing off on, on traditional functions within human resources itself. We are making use of technology, a lot of which you referred to. Since we are at the top of the hour, I'll just look at a couple of questions and comments that have come in. So, Shirish says, thanks, Balaji. It was an insightful session. Thank you, Shirish. That's encouraging. Amit Derkar has posted a question saying, do we partner with any leading learning platform service providers? I presume it is do we partner? So Balaji, if I'm not sure to what extent you could reveal that, but would you like to take that question from Amit?
Yeah, so I think we do partner with a lot of leading platforms in the market, but I think the way we use them is different. So what we have done is we have bucketed them into just-in-time skill needs, continuous skill needs, and maybe fresher learning needs, right? So what we have done is we have chosen different platforms for each of these needs based on our pilots which we have done with them. So I think I wouldn't want to give out the names, but that's the way we have actually looked at. And we are also seeing our partners also invest a lot on certification in their platforms. So we are working with our platforms to with our platform partners also to design courses and help us get our people certified. So I think that's how I would look at tying up with platforms or platform partners, technology platform partners, not just the
Sure.
educational platform partners. Yeah.
Sure, thanks. And I think all of that translates into an extremely meaningful and rewarding learning journey for our employees here at ITC Infotech. We're rate one, so I just like to take this opportunity to thank all of you who have taken the time to join us for this session. Feel free to follow us on our various social media platforms. We would be more than happy to partner with you in your own digital journey, wherever you might be. And we definitely encourage you, if you're job seekers, to take a look at the opportunities that we provide here at ITC Infotech and reach out to us to further your own journey in this exciting area. Thank you, Balaji, and thanks to all of you who have joined us for this session. Bye.
Thank you, Ritesh, and thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.